Hi, I'm Phil Layler, Consulting Director at STL Partners. This is a short video that's going to respond to some questions that were asked of us following our study of the impact on 5G on carbon emissions from mobile networks. So the objection here is that operators aren't really there to figure out how to resolve climate change. They just have to respond to government policy, to market prices, and act accordingly. The underlying premise behind all of this analysis is wrong. It's just not down to operators to figure this out. The problem with saying I'm just going to respond to the market conditions or to regulation as and when it unfolds is that the business of moving away from a particular setup isn't something you can do overnight. If you're locked into a particular trajectory with a technology and a network and a setup, and suddenly there are some changes in the underlying regulation and your use of energy, then it's going to be very tricky for you to quickly pivot out of that. One way of thinking about this is if you invest early in reducing your energy use and your carbon emissions, then you may take a short-term hit in that investment, but as soon as there are the changes in regulatory or market circumstances, you'll be in a far better position to meet those and address those. And that in turn will result in a better market outcome for you. Global warming is everyone's business. So you as an operator may feel it's not your role to save the planet, but unfortunately your customers do. Your enterprise customers want to know that their suppliers are doing everything they can to minimize their carbon footprint, because your enterprise customers themselves are looking to report all of their carbon emissions, including the carbon emissions that come about through their use of telecom services. And your consumer customers increasingly care about the same thing. They're going to want to see that their suppliers are ahead of the curve when it comes to minimizing carbon emissions. Also, your employees, particularly your younger employees, but older ones too, care about their company, and they care that they're working for a company that's doing all it can to minimize its carbon footprint and global warming. And then finally, this also applies to investors. Investors are becoming increasingly wary of those investments that they see are potentially stranded assets that are exposed to significant regulatory risk. Well, that was a 2-minute overview in response to that question. There are some other questions that you can go and check out on the site. In the meanwhile, if there's anything else you want to know, particularly about our current research looking into the impact that 5G can do to help the renewables industry, please don't hesitate to contact us. Thanks for listening.